Do you fish for excitement? Do you fish for passion? Do you fish to get outside? Or do you fish to win? Abu Garcia for life. You know, right now where we're standing, we're in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is right there. This is the concrete jungle. And, you know, a lot of those kids, as they grow up, they don't fish. It's interesting because they're surrounded by water. You know, the Delaware River, the Schuylkill, ponds, city park lakes. But they don't have the influence to cast, to fish, to have a rod and reel. And that became our focus, you know, is to target kids in what we call non-traditional areas, you know, urban areas, city centers, where the population's high, and let these kids have an experience. You know, it's amazing. I mean, some of the experiences we've had, whether it's Central Park in New York City, here in Camden, other parts of the country, even just casting.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to see it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
And you know, you see these kids have this experience they've never had, and they light up, you know? The big thing, I think, for the Ike Foundation is we're not saying we want all these kids to become professional anglers.
Yeah.
Be great if some of them did, but we want them to have that fishing experience because it ties them to so many other positive things. The outdoors, nature, conservation. Ecology, you know, all these amazing things in life that maybe they wouldn't have been exposed to any other way. We're trying to help with that. So it's important. It's important for us.
Yeah.
We're proud of it.
I subscribe to Bass U TV, and so should you.
Great place to learn about anything you want to know about bass fishing.
You get it at Bass U. We got the best of the best.
I'm not just an instructor, I'm a subscriber.
I'm John Cruz, and I am a subscriber.
You can always learn, and watching Bass U is definitely helps with that. It's something that I like to do, and it's definitely something that you need to do.
If I'm still learning, you should be too.
Subscribe to Bass U because you'll learn how to catch a lot more fish.
Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.
It's the first time in 10 years of doing this that I've got to sit here. I mean, I've like was allowed to sit here for like 10, 20 minutes at a time, but I'm staying here the whole show.
Feels nice, doesn't
Unless Vegas comes up, then I get bumped.
Well, here's the nice thing about
Or Becky.
This was actually
Chef.
when Becky was setting everything up here a couple hours ago. We're like, man, is Brian? We actually said this. Is Brian going to be mad that he's not? I'm like, no, he's not going to be mad. I'm like, dude,
Hell no.
especially now with your new podcast, you're working your ass off there. I thought this would be nice to you could just sit and whatever.
Like you guys did
Like
for
we've
10
done for
years.
10
Just
years.
show up and
Yeah.
goof off.
Make
Yeah,
fun of
goof
you.
off.
Not read the notes.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I plan on doing.
Huffy and Van jokes, just sit here. That's it.
And like Pete, I got all my nicknames from, all my mistakes.
Yeah, all your mistakes. But the biggest nickname you've acquired, and I do want to tell this story. I think it's been told on the show before, but when we gave Brian the Carpenter his name, you did not like it in the beginning, and you did not like it.
Me? No.
Yeah,
that's
you didn't
corny.
like it. You thought it was terrible.
Yeah,
The Carpenter.
Yeah, but Jesus was a carpenter.
that's right.
You're a carpenter. It's a good name.
He came to me in a dream and said it's gonna be all right.
Well, so do you have regrets about accepting that name
No.
10 years ago?
Nope.
No, because you're known. I mean, people know you. They don't even maybe necessarily know your actual name's Brian, even though
They
it's
don't know
Brian
my
the Carpenter.
last name, and
They don't know your last name.
and that's good.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Sitting to Brian's left in his normal spot. Dave, I like you in that spot. It's a good spot for you.
It's not my handsome side though.
Nah,
If I was on Pete's side, I think I would look better.
Yeah, but Pete's couch sinks in a little bit.
Well, no, it's
You
like
have to-
everyone has a good side. Like
Yeah.
the side I got to show here, I feel like I'm in like an extra gravy commercial, like a fucking old country buffet or something. like I'm waiting for like mashed potatoes. Like all the mashed potatoes there. I am like, hey, I'm on the side. I was on that side.
Sitting in his normal chair, Dave Brodzik, aka Stormtrooper, aka Worf, back in the studio.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, and then of course we've got our producers tonight. We've got a very special guest sitting to the right of Becky and joining us as the assistant producer
And Uber driver,
and Uber driver,
Airport shuttle.
and
all around great guy,
great guy, and
Miller Lite Pro Staff.
Miller Lite Pro Staff, and answering some of the
Sponsor needed.
and answering some of the IM stuff. We've got Chef joining us tonight as executive producer.
The only one that got an applause tonight, Chef.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we threw him into this role.
He's like Johnny Appleseed. You know, remember Johnny go around sprinkling apple seeds?
Yeah,
He's just goes around handing out Miller Lights to everybody.
I love it.
He always dries the bottle off with a rag and
Nice, clean, shiny bottle,
Always.
dry. And last, but 100% Pete, not least, producing the show tonight, we have Miss Rebecca.
Hi.
How you doing tonight, Beck?
I'm good.
Okay, for who are you wearing tonight? What do you got on? Who's the designer?
Yeah, step back. Can we get a full shot?
I know. Business on the
No
top.
side boob.
John's on the bottom. No, I got some fabulous turquoise when we were in Colorado.
And that's on your neck?
From like an Indian reservation, graveyard, something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
But here's my question.
Pilfered from
Here's my question
from the
about
bones of Pocahontas.
That'd be awesome.
Why would turquoise be from the bones of Pocahontas?
I don't know. They shine them up.
I mean, culturally,
Shine 'em up, bro.
Fancy ass bones.
They shine them up.
If I could take a hot tub time machine and go back to an era, it would be that one.
Wouldn't it be awesome? What would you, okay, you could go back there as a fisherman, knowing what you know now. What one lure would you take with you and kick the living dog shit out of everybody with?
Oh, man, a soft stick bait, a.k.a. Senko. Give that to me back then. Dude, you would have Adam. And,
No.
and you wouldn't have to look at forward facing. You just throw it anywhere. They see that hot dog coming down. Coom, everywhere.
Mine would be a plopper.
A plopper. Oh, you would kill him with that.
Wouldn't that be great? Can you just imagine going back there, everybody's throwing a jig and a spinner bait, and you show up with this turd-looking Cinco thing, and like
a Cinco and a plopper, two rods.
That's it. With braided line blowing their minds.
Oh man, but you got to have the whole gig because you got to be, you have to be dressed to that era too. So we're talking about the neon colors, the jams,
Oh yeah.
All that. It's good. You got to be 80s, 90s, early 90s, mid 80s, Miami Vice era. You got to play the part too.
Best. That was so much fun. I get sad thinking about that. I remember the day I started cussing in front of my dad, talking about jams. We're down on Table Rock Lake, and I had one of them flowery jam hats on.
Oh yeah.
Like the 1st of April, and we were just crushing them down here on Smithwick Road, jerk baiting. And we're down here by the dam, and my dad rears back and he hooks me right in the hat with the robe, not just with one treble hook, all three just jammed up in my hat. That flowery jam hat. My buddy just sent me a picture of jams. And he peels the back of my hat up like this, and he goes, I said, is it bad? He goes, yeah. He said, but I can get it. He said, yeah, and he's working on one, and he goes, rack! He just yanks the whole damn thing off. All three treble hooks still inside, buried in the hat, and like scalped my whole head with that rusty ass, the hooks. What was them the bend hook?
Oh yeah, they're Excaliburs.
Excaliburs.
Yes,
oh,
they were counter rotating trebles.
Yeah,
and actually the theory of it was really good. I don't know if it worked or not, but I remember, dude. I can listen as you're talking. I can see it all. I see the Rogue. I see the hat. I can smell it. I know what the Rogue smells like, for crying out loud.
With the burning of the monofilament, the max, the ultra green 10-pound ultra green monofilament.
Yeah, it's trilene. Baby, it's trilene. I smell that shit. I know what it smells like.
The big game.
Oh, take me back. It was so much simpler back then.
Yes.
You know?
Dude, and the rods and the reels and the stuff were so antiquated back here. How did we ever catch a fucking bass?
Oh,
How?
man.
How?
I don't know. I want to go back. Man, listen, a lot of times I tell you, big wigs do watch this show, and they don't admit it, but big wigs watch this show, whether it's the owners of the leagues or Johnny Morris himself has been known to watch this show. We used to crank call Bass Pro Shops all the time. So he started watching. I know he does. Guys, if you're watching this, the big wigs, I know you're watching, start a seniors tour. Bring all this stuff back. 50 years old or older for qualification. No practice. Bring it back. I'll wear my jams.
No forward facing.
No forward facing. I'll bring my jelly worms and my Smithwicks. I'll bring them all.
Promise. One pistol grip rod. As a minimum, you have to have one pistol grip rod strapped down, rod strap. It has to be the Velcro rod strap.
Oh, yeah.
On the front deck.
And the rod can't be graphite. It's got to be boron. Just
Boron.
you know.
Dude, remember when the Team Dyer rods come out?
Oh, yeah.
The Light and Tufts?
Oh, LTs. Man, that was a rod.
Dude, I got like 13 of the telescope and 7.5 foot Light and Tufts still over. I'm not even going to say where because somebody probably tried to break into my shit.
They would break in. Don't say where. They would break in. Yes.
I've sold a couple of them about a year ago for $750 a piece.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I was with Daiwa for a while. I was buying Daiwa before I had a Daiwa deal, and that was an amazing rod. I remember those days.
Yes.
Yep. Sure
Let's see. Now we're having fun again.
We're having fun. See, we just got to turn the switch.
That's
just
right.
like that. Like that.
I still love this sport, even though I want to murder myself sometimes.
I do too. I tell you this, all this shit I guess it was about 2 or 3 months ago, it was really getting to me. And I'm not kidding you. I got my kayak, one of the kayaks I have that has nothing on it. It had a rudimentary Lowrance depth finder. I took that off, left it in the shop. I took the kayak out with nothing, just me and the kayak. And dude, it really did refocus me a little bit. It recentered me and helped me remember that I just like to fish, man. You know, and you can let all this hubbub get in the way. Not that you shouldn't be concerned, because listen, guys that make noise, guys that take a stand, guys that fight for what's right, that's important.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have these conversations. That dream sequence we just had was so good because it makes me remember why I love the sport, you know?
Me too.
Is the correct way to drink a beer or drink stay in the boat, Ike? Is it to drink directly from the can, or is it better to drink from a glass, to pour the can in a glass? Or does it matter? Or does it not matter?
There's a science to it.
There's a science.
There is a science to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So do we have a cold beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a cold beer.
We're gonna do a little test here. So always take your glass and give it a good rinse before you put anything in there. This, gets any of the soap residue, maybe from your dishwasher if you're putting it in there or anything.
Yeah.
But when you open up this beer, don't get fancy with it like this.
Just pour that John in there.
Stop. Are
You
you
wanna
serious?
pour it in.
You want the head.
You want this head.
Listen to this, guys. Listen to this.
You
This is
want
the moment of the
head.
show that means something. Look at this.
Head.
I never
Right.
did it that way. I did it the other way.
No. So
I'm wrong. I was wrong the whole
You're
time.
wrong the
I look like an
whole
asshole
time.
for all those years. I look like an asshole. Damn it.
That's not the only reason.
Damn it.
Yes. Because what this is doing, all these hop oils, all these hops that we put in here, the
Yeah.
Citra, the Eldorado, Mosaic, the Eclipse, they're all oils.
Right.
And in order to get the full flavor, you got to get those oils out of the beer. How do you get the oils out of the beer? Because they're stuck to those little carbonation, those tiny CO2 bubbles.
Yeah.
The only way to get them out is to make a mess.
To make a
And-
mess.
Let's smell that,
Wow.
brother. I mean,
Can you please tell everyone that
Wow.
you shouldn't touch like the oils on your face too and stick your fingers in?
Yeah,
your
don't
ear?
do that either.
Please don't do that.
Yes, yes.
That is so gross. I see
yeah,
people
that
do
is
it in bars.
anti-head. But yes, you're.
That's amazing. I mean, honestly, I learned something. This is amazing because the whole time I've been the guy like tilting the glass and doing it real gentle. But you want to mix everything. You want to get everything mixed up. You want to activate all that stuff.
100%. So when we're at the
Damn it.
brewery and we're pouring it,
Yeah.
We're opening up the faucet after we rinse the glass.
Yeah.
You're opening it up, and that beer is hitting the glass, and already the nucleation of the carbon
Another
dioxide
good
bubbles
word.
are all coming out, and with that, it's just bringing all those flavors. That pithiness, is just coming out.
Right.
By the way, I don't think I've ever. I didn't have this in my notes, but I did. I wanted to bring it up because as you were talking about those different fisheries, I was reminiscing on the experiences that we've had in California fishing together. And no, listen, we've had some good ones, dude. I've had a chance to share the boat with you out there. And we've fished, swim bait lakes to finesse lakes, to the California Delta, and something really crazy, scary, unique, bizarre happened on a trip with you when I was at. Let me back up.
You talking about the pre-practice?
Pre-practice. Let me back up, and then I'm going to throw it to you because I think it might be better coming from you. So this is back when the tour, the elites, or what it might not have been the elites back then. Long time ago.
The elites, maybe it's a long time ago. Many
time
moons.
ago. We knew we were coming to the Delta, and so before it cut off, and this was back in the day, so there weren't as many rules as in place. But back in the day, you said, "Man, you've never been to the Delta." You said, "Come out," and I said, "I'm not." And I remember you saying, "Like, I don't have my boat. I sold my boat already, but I'll borrow my dad's boat, and we won't even fish. I'll just run you around so you get an idea of the layout." And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
I get to come out. I'll hang out with Ish for a few days, just chilling. We'll ride around for a day. I'll get the layout, and it'll be great. And so it was great, and got to hang out, and we did this trip, and we looked all around. Dude, you showed me the entire layout of Delta. And this is, I think, December, right? It's probably November, December.
It was cold.
It was cold. And we were coming back, and then I'll give it to you. And I was driving the boat.
You were driving the boat. And I just remember hitting a little bump. And I look over in the driver's seat, and you're nowhere to be found.
Gone.
And gone. Like he's in the lake. I look back, and there's Mike waving his hands. He's in the lake.
Blown out of the boat.
Yes. But we also almost got killed on that trip by Becky, because the second day when we didn't go fishing, we told her that you fell out of the boat again. She was so mad.
She wanted to kill us. Oh yeah, she wanted to kill us.
She's like, yeah, I will kill all of you. And I remember her saying that.
Dude,
so that was just the good old times.
That was a crazy experience. That was the one and only time. Let me knock on wood. This whole thing's made of wood in here. I hope I never get ejected out of the boat again.
But it wasn't even like it was a big bump or anything. It was like boom, boom.
It was
like we just bumped some hyacinth or something.
Yeah, it was a floater, and I just kind of went to avoid it, and the foot of the outboard impacted that floater.
Right.
And it just that shift just was enough to put me out,
Well, I mean, you weigh $105, Mike. So
back then I did. I don't now.
Yeah.
Back then I did. And let me tell you, if you're watching or listening, we weren't even going super fast. We're probably going 40, 50 miles.
Not even, yeah.
Maybe not even. Maybe let's call it 40 miles an hour. Water hurts at 40 miles an hour. Let me tell you, it really.
Yeah.
Do you remember it blew my shoes off? We couldn't find my sneakers.
Yes.
You pulled me out of the river, and we couldn't find my sneakers.
Yeah, that was hilarious. The good times.
The good old days. The first thing before I've got, like, I do all these notes for every show, but everything always changes on the fly And before we came on, I just want to bring this back up because it's super funny. Before we came back on, you were trying to fix something on your phone, turn the notifications off or whatever. And we started joking about flip phones. Then we talked about the Sky pager. Then you mentioned your camera guy saw a cassette in your office and was like, what's that? Dude, is that not funny? Like how things come full circle. Like, you know, now we're both about the same age. I think I'm a few years older than you, but dude, is it mind-blowing to be like a dad and a father and to be around these young kids and they see this stuff and they have no idea what it is? No idea.
It really is. And but you know, the flip phone's coming back. That's like a thing now. It's like trending. Like there's people that are doing the whole flip thing, like the old school flip phones. And
yeah.
So actually it'd be kind of fun to have that, man. And you know, yeah, these kids these days, I mean, the technology, everything that they're used to doing, and they look at this old stuff. I saw a video of a kid. You should pull it up when we're off. And they had a one of those dial phones.
Yeah.
Guy set the dial phone down in front of the two teenagers, and he just stepped away and he said, dial this number. And the kids were like, and they were like touching it. They were like doing it weird. They didn't know to go all the way around. Like
you have no idea.
They spent like 5 minutes trying to figure it out. They're like, it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude, it's amazing. And it's not just in like real world stuff. It's also in the fishing world. And I'll tell you this quick story. So I get to captain my son and a lot of people in the youth league here in New Jersey. And I can't tell you, Scott, how many kids come on my boat. And I keep in my bass cat, I keep 2 marker buoys between the seats.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're looking at them. Dude, they have no idea. They ask, what's that?
That's so funny. That is exactly true. That is.
I mean, like it's a fossil, like it's a dinosaur, you know, like what's that? You know, like it's an archaeological find in my boat, you know?
What you need to do next time is go get some Uncle Josh pork chunk, the old ones. And put that on your trailer of a jig, dude, and let it be sitting there. And they're going to be, what in the world? What is that? My dad did that. And he called me in a tournament one time. One of the last little things that we fished, it was one of those ultimate match fishing things. And he was out practicing at Lanier. And, you know, I've got my jig all rigged up. I'm skipping docks and stuff. And I've got this really nice, beautiful finesse jig with 37 strands of, you know, my dipped little chunk, you know, everything's great. 12-pound fluorocarbon, my ultralight rod, and my dad up after about 2 hours of fishing. We're down on the clear end, and I said, "You catching them?" He said, "Yeah, I've caught them. I caught a 5 and a 6, and I had a 3-pounder, and I caught all these big fish." And I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." "Where are you at?" He goes, "I'm just in the next creek over." I said, "What are you catching on?" He goes, "Oh yeah. I'm getting them on a jig, but hey, do you got any Uncle Josh pork chunks?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you got. I don't have any more. The lid's rusted on the other ones." And I said, "You're catching them on a pork chunk?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "What size line?" He says, 25-pound. It's that the chalky strand, you know, like leftover.
Yeah, and it's fluorescent blue. It has that fluorescent blue tint to it. Yeah.
So I go around the corner. I go, "Hang on, I'm coming to you." So I go around the corner. And I said, "Show me your jig." He shows me this jig, and it looked like a baby squirrel, dude. It was this giant, gaudy jig. He's got this flipping stick. It's a musky rod with a foam thing on the bottom of it with goat rope, and he's wrecking them. And I'm like, you know what? Old school stuff is the PA. I mean, like it's still working. And I'm out there with my little finesse jig, and he's just out there just whack. It was so funny.
That's amazing. We got a lot of teens, 20s, even 30s watching right now that don't know about this. And I'm sure they're going to be able to go out and Google this and find it. The Google machine's amazing. So
We got some audio stuff going on here.
we got some audio stuff. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, it's kind of getting all staticky.
Okay, I'll put my face closer to the mic. There was a time in that heyday where companies were spending a lot of money doing commercials and crazy ads and all this stuff.
I know where you're going. I think I know where you're going.
And it's funny because I think when you're a little embarrassed by something you've done, you write it out of your memory. So I was at an event this year, a major media event in Houston, Texas, at the Space Center. And the marketing team brought this up, and they're like, "Oh my God, we were looking at old videos and we saw this," and I was like, I'm like, I was so like I had wrote it out of my mind, and I was hoping that people forgot about it. But let's be honest. This is Ike Live, Skeet. Me and you have to be honest together. There was a time where you and I agreed to do a commercial for Berkeley. It was for the Gulp brand, and the
naked.
yes, and it was the marketing theme was all natural, and some dude in an office in freaking Minnesota in Twin Cities that has never fished in his life came up with the strategy that me and you would be naked fishing. Dad,
That was the worst marketing campaign I've ever been part of. Hands down.
Hands down.
It was the worst. So like, all right, because whatever, and then I'm like, can I tell people about the shoot?
Yeah.
All right, so how many commercials have we done in our careers? A lot.
We've done a lot. We've done a few together, but that was the hottest one.
The most awkward, uncomfortable, embarrassing shoot I've ever been on.
Yes.
All right, so it got to the point, right? All right, so imagine, so if a lot of you, these young kids, are like, just go look. I don't know if I'm sure they can still find the videos and up. So Ike and I are in natural color thongs. I actually still think I have the thong. So I should go find it. I'm not going to put the damn thing on, but all right. So Ike and I are wearing these thongs. That's all we're wearing. So because the premise is we're supposed to be fishing natural. We're fishing naked. We're
all
holding
natural.
fish up that's covering our junk up. So every camera shot is like it's something that's covering your junk right at the right angle. But all right, so Ike and I are standing there, but we got a crew of 20 people.
Dude, the
standing around. They got cameras in your crotch. So you got a light person over here, you got a boom guy over here, you got camera angle here, and here you are like, yeah, here, look at me. And so
then it was like a Hollywood set. There were so many.
It was a total Hollywood set. But I'm like, hey, this is one thing I always remember. It's like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna get to this shoot sober. And so we had to bring a bottle of Grey Goose in.
I remember that.
And I'm like, I need a shot. I think we had more than a couple shots. So like, I got to take the edge off because I am not used to having a cameraman up on my thumb.
To win a bass tournament, you need an edge. And for me, that means going natural, baby.
Berkeley Gulp is the next generation soft bait. Its natural, organic material breathes in the water, releasing scent, just like a blood trail.
Want to fish in the zone? Say goodbye to plastics and go natural.
Berkeley Gulp, the natural attraction.
Dude, the places that we've been because of fishing. Like, what? Is that not unbelievable?
Oh man, I can't believe you brought that up. That was the worst ever.
They even converted it. Like, if some of my fans are hardcore, they're hardcore. They'll find anything. You know what I mean? They even converted it so it was a commercial that aired on the fishing channel. That it was also a print ad. So they were able to pull images from that, and it was in magazines. Shit. If you're watching, listen, have been in Hall of Fame, you know this, but there is a really cool display that you're given as you're inducted into it. You're literally part of, for history, you're now part of that. I don't want you to give it all away, but can you tell us on the show, give us one piece of memorabilia or something special that you put in there that people can expect to see?
The first smallmouth bass I ever caught, I mounted, and it was a 17-inch smallmouth.
Whoa!
And I had, and this is no joke, I had 3 bullies. I was fishing under a bridge. I was a little dude.
Yeah.
And I was fishing under a bridge, and the 3 some of them they may have been a relative or two, were giving it to me. They were the older kids, and they didn't think fishing was cool, right? And I remember I had my little 3-hook worm under this bridge, and all I wanted to do was see that line go up to just shut them up.
Yes.
Shut them up, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I remember because it was off to my left-hand side. Mike, they're giving it to me. You're a dork. All you do is fish. You're a loser. And I was probably, I don't know, it's probably 7 or 8 years old, and they were 11 or 12. And I'll never forget this. I saw the line go up.
Yes.
And I'm like, got him. And they're like, you don't have, still giving it to me.
Yeah, you're snagged. You've got nothing. It's the bottom.
And here comes this 17-inch smallmouth. It might as well have been Jaws in my eyes, right?
That's awesome.
And they're up there on their bikes, and they see it come out from underneath. It was a road bridge. They see it come out from under the road bridge. Now all of a sudden they're cheering. And I'll remember they came around the left-hand side of the bridge and helped me get it. And we put it on a stringer, and we were riding back to my parents' house. And it was just like E.T. with the basket. And I got this bass, and they're behind me cheering, right? And I'll tell you, I've thought about this a lot. Like, what have I done, or what am I in the fishing industry? And I thought about that. I've thought about that day a lot since getting inducted. To me, all I wanted to show those 3 kids was how cool bass fishing was.
Yeah.
And I did that because from that day forward, they had, like, every time I seen them, all the way till I was 20 years old, they're like, are you catching any big ones? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember from that day forward, I did that on the south side of Chicago. I did that when my kids were born, all the way to when I sat in the seat on Bassmaster and did Zona show. So that one bass paints I'm not kidding, that one bass paints the story of my life.
That's such an amazing story. It's so amazing. It really does bring it full circle. And I love that you told that story, because how many people are going to walk past that bass and be like, that's a little bass he caught.
It's a little bass.
And it's a skin mount. Why did he do that?
Right. It was a skin mount too. Right.
But it is cool. I love those full circle moments, and it's a representation of what you've done your whole career in that one fish. That's so cool. That's awesome.
It meant a lot. And to go on to be able, in some way, shape, or form, to try to show and tell millions and millions and millions of people from those 3 kids on that bridge is it's hard for me to comprehend that. It really
That's so
is.
awesome. Yeah. That's so awesome. It actually gave me a little bit of chills as you were telling that story.
Typical, Mike. Typical.
I know.
Fishing bullshit. I was like, if this damn fish breaks me off,
your life might have been different, right?
Absolutely.
They might have thrown you in. You would have hated fishing because of that. You would have just, did something completely different,
It was awesome.
I'm glad you caught that fish, because you did the right thing in life.
Let's dive into some questions. I'm going to let Becky do it, because I have to put my readers on. I'm embarrassed I even have to use these things. CVS, I think 3 for like $10. I got so many of these things laying around. Look at them. They look like old lady glasses. I don't want to wear these things. I'll let Beck read the questions. But
they said that we have to clean our camera lens.
Clean our camera lens. Does it look dirty?
It's a computer. It's not very
well. It's
not probably very good.
How's that? Worse.
How you lick this?
I lick the screen.
Don't put your finger.
Well, now it's got pink like shiny things.
Use a paper towel.
Well, I just thought I would use.
I have no idea. I lost track.
Still don't look good, but maybe that looks a little better. That actually looks a little better. I think that looks better.
But here's the other thing, because I saw some comments earlier, and you touched on it.
Like there's no recourse in any of these areas. And when the angler groups split from bass to ML, you know what I mean? Like when we did the split, that was the opportunity to actually have representation. And I think the ship has sailed.
Missed
Like, 'cause
opportunity. It's a shame.
It is what it is now.
It's a
So
shame.
because someone had brought something up like that, having representation.
I see some laughing emojis popping up. I could actually make that out. So hopefully we're making people laugh. That's good.
Oh, it's a lighting issue. I'm sorry, Sean. It probably is.
It's a lighting issue.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Look, we have like it's like orbs.
It is like
Do you
orbs.
feel like you're in the club,
Yeah.
Sean?
I don't know. Hold on. Let's mess with the lighting and see if we can figure it out. Oh wait, what did it do? Any better?
No. Oh. No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, we don't know what we're doing.
We're not that good.
We don't know what we're doing.
We're not that
We're
clever.
just dumb. I want to ask this is an interesting question because as you were talking, I thought of this, and I'm going to start with Kyle. If you guys, so I can't remember the movie. Bill, ask Jennifer if she remembers the movie, but it's basically an old, let's call it like 90s movie where the daughter, you know, she's a teenage daughter and she's so mad at her mom and she's just, man, I wish I was an adult. You know, I wish I could be you for a day. And they swap roles. So we're going to do this movie right now. And I want to start with you, Kyle. If we were to flash transport you back, you get in a hot tub. It's the hot tub time machine.
Love that movie.
And yeah, it's
Love
a great
that
movie. So you're in a hot tub, whatever you're wearing, you're in the hot tub and you're transported back to Bill's rookie year. Transport it back to 20 years ago. And be honest. This is like live. You got to be honest. Could you and do you think you could compete the same way you're competing now? Would you be the same successful angler you are today if you were brought back to 2006?
Are you just talking about finishes?
Everything. You're
Everything?
you're a rookie and you have
sponsors, finishes.
Everything is relative. So you don't have forward facing. You don't have
No. Yeah,
it's relative. You're in 2007. But you're you.
Yeah, I personally think yes, because if I had the same personality, I feel like I could absolutely. Now, as far as the finishes go, I don't think anyone can say they could be as consistent. It's not possible.
Right.
It's not. I mean, maybe like your best years, like. You take what it took for AOY and ROY in finishes now, and you compare it to 2010.
Right.
Not even close. I guarantee it. Actually, I know it. So on that front, could I have been as consistent? Maybe not. But then again, I'm pretty good at flipping a jig. I'm pretty good at skipping docks. I'm pretty good at, fishing off my instincts. So I think that I'd have success. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on the sponsor side, that's a whole totally different thing with the internet. That I couldn't answer. But I think that, dude, going into this year, success for me was to cut a few checks. When I made the elites at Harris Chain, I was the last man in. I needed like an 89th place finish, and I finished, I needed a 99th, and I finished like 70th. Okay. I reflected. I was excited. I came back. I said, you know what? I think a really good year was, if I barely missed the classic, I'd be upset. But honestly, if I'm top 50 out of 100, that's success.
Yeah.
So to me, if I had my rookie year back when Bill was a rookie, if I had a solid top 50 in AOY, that's success to me.
Right.
But mostly provided value for my sponsors and built my own brand.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I think you'd be great in 2006, Kyle.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bill, same question to you. And you got to be, this is Ike Live, so you got to be honest. You're in a hot tub and you're sitting in the hot tub relaxing and you're transported to 2024 as a rookie. Same parameters as Kyle. It's still you. You're you, but you're in 2024 with all this new stuff, social media and this and that and forward facing and the information highway. Do you think you would make it as a rookie? How do you think you would fare success wise in 2024 as a rookie.
Now, Bill, before you answer that question, remember before you answer the question that it's you, but you grew up in this. How old is Bill? Is he 20 or is he 30? That's very different.
He's a young man. He's a young man, and he's now.
You got to assume you grew up watching YouTube. You got a live scope on your boat when you were 16. You know what I mean? Come on.
All right. So Jennifer thinks the movie was Freaky Friday, by the way.
Yes.
It was Freaky Friday. Thank you.
So I'm gonna say, because I've always been like a sponge, like I'm gonna absorb everything, right? And I'm gonna say, if that was the case, that I'd probably be a really phenomenal rookie. And I know that sounds like you're bragging, whatever.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now, 20 years on the tour, whatever. I'm getting ready to turn 50 in December. I have always prided myself on learning everything there is about bass fishing, from patterns to weather conditions, rising water, falling water, moon phases, crankbait colors, just anything that I could absorb, I absorbed it. And I think that's why I've had such a successful career and always have been so consistent. So with that being said, like I would have absorbed this forward-facing sonar. I would have absorbed, the informational highway, because when I started, we didn't have that. Like it was like you better learn everything you need to learn, and it all boiled down to time on the water. You know what I mean? The more time you spend on the water, the better you were. And with what we have now at our disposal of the information highway, like I hate to say this, but we have, it's always been our job for our sponsors to teach this new generation everything we know, right?
Everything.
Because if we didn't do that, then we bring no value to our sponsors. So everything that I know about flipping a jig or swimming a jig, or just everybody out there knows it, because I have spilled the beans to everybody, because that's my job. So yeah, I would have absorbed, like I would have been trying to figure out everything there was about forward facing sonar, and I'm glad you brought that up, Kyle, because I am sitting back still waiting for all you superstar forward-facing sonar guys to start putting some videos up there to kind of help us old guys out.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Because I don't see any of them.
Go to Bass U. I spilled all my beans, every possible beans that I could have spilled.
You did some good ones for Bass U. I gotta invite everybody.
Here's all I see is just like you see the dot. You throw it out there and you just shake it over him, and he bites it. That's all I see. Look, the very first time I ever got in a boat with another angler that had forward-facing sonar on his boat was Wes Logan, right? And long story short, I caught a 3-pound spot out of basically a fish attractor, and I caught that fish. I said, "Turn it off. I don't want to see it anymore." And he said, "Mr. Bill, all you got to do is throw it dots." And that's kind of stuck with me ever since that. But like I said, I would have just absorbed it. You know what I mean? And it's like every day on the water for me now, it's like I just feel like I have no choice but to learn forward-facing sonar. And I get better and better with it every single day. But I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be afraid of something that I know that I have to learn. So with that being said, hot tub time machine, me in a bikini, G-string, whatever. I would have absorbed all of it. And it would have been like, I would just like to know how that would be, because to be able to have the knowledge that this new generation has when they hit the tour, they're as good as it gets.
As good as they get. Yeah.
And they're just getting better and better and better. And Kyle, you're going to see this as you progress in your career, that like, there's going to become a point when you're like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to stop? Or like, are they ever going to quit getting better and better and better? You know what I mean? I see it every year, and it's getting harder and harder, with this new technology. And like, the new generation just absorbs all that. You know, I mean, I'm sure Vegas is phenomenal with forward facing sonar. Fisher is no different. He is really good with forward facing sonar, but he's just like you and I. He'll want to do that for a few hours, but then he wants to go flip docks or swim a jig, you know?
And dude, and Bill, I'm the same way. Like,
yeah,
I just know that I probably next year is going to be a little different. I will say, Gerald always says it's not to me, but I think it's going to be a little different. But I just know that I have a far less chance at cutting a check if I only dedicated half of my practice to looking for for the forward facing sonar fish.
Do you fish for excitement? Do you fish for passion? Do you fish to get outside? Or do you fish to win? Abu Garcia for life. You know, right now where we're standing, we're in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is right there. This is the concrete jungle. And, you know, a lot of those kids, as they grow up, they don't fish. It's interesting because they're surrounded by water. You know, the Delaware River, the Schuylkill, ponds, city park lakes. But they don't have the influence to cast, to fish, to have a rod and reel. And that became our focus, you know, is to target kids in what we call non-traditional areas, you know, urban areas, city centers, where the population's high, and let these kids have an experience. You know, it's amazing. I mean, some of the experiences we've had, whether it's Central Park in New York City, here in Camden, other parts of the country, even just casting.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to see it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
And you know, you see these kids have this experience they've never had, and they light up, you know? The big thing, I think, for the Ike Foundation is we're not saying we want all these kids to become professional anglers.
No.
Be great if some of them did, but we want them to have that fishing experience because it ties them to so many other positive things. The outdoors, nature, conservation. Ecology, you know, all these amazing things in life that maybe they wouldn't have been exposed to any other way. We're trying to help with that. So it's important. It's important for us. We're proud of it.
I subscribe to Bass U TV, and so should you. Great place to learn about anything you want to know about bass fishing.
You get it at Bass U. We got the best of the best.
I'm not just an instructor, I'm a subscriber.
I'm John Cruz, and I am a subscriber.
You can always learn, and watching Bass U is definitely helps with that. It's something that I like to do, and it's definitely something that you need to do.
If I'm still learning, you should be too.
Subscribe to Bass U because you'll learn how to catch a lot more fish.
Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.